Swinburne podcasts.
We get to travel a lot in astronomy, to conferences and to telescopes and see some pretty wild and wacky places. And for me, it's a very positive thing. I think the more you travel, the more you see the similarities in the world rather than the differences.
Well, at first it was actually quite exciting because one of the things that drew me to astronomy in the first place was the fact that you do travel a lot.
The opportunities to travel and meeting people did draw me into astronomy. I really wanted to go observing on Hawaii and Chile, and I've done that. I still love going observing. Whenever I have observing time, it's always the highlight in my travel schedule.
Both my parents were travellers, and I think they had a travelling bug, and I think I got the same travelling bug, so I like it very much. I get to learn a new language, I get to learn to live in a different culture, and I found it very, very rewarding.
Well, my first trip outside of Australia was actually to Chile, which of course English is not their native language, so I found that exciting more than daunting because I've always wanted to go to South America. But the advantage, I guess, was that I went with my PhD supervisor, who was very well travelled. And so, I just assumed that he knew what he was doing and I tagged along.
Travel to meet collaborators. So I would travel to work with a collaborator for 1 or 2 weeks, depending on what the project we're doing actually is.
My collaborators are in England, which is good for me because I like visiting England, and seeing as 5 of them are over there, it's easier for me to travel rather than them to come over here.
It's a little hard when you're stuck in Chicago airport because the plane's snowed in and you have to sleep on a bench for the night, but that doesn't happen too often.
So you see pretty much as positive, not negative, in terms of the travel?
At this stage in my career, certainly. I know people who've been in the game a little bit longer find it a bit of a chore.
Perhaps now, after 12 years of working at the observatory, I'm starting to minimise my travels a little bit.
So constantly travelling to Europe and the US, Canada, Hawaii, Chile, inside Australia. So after a while you get used to it, and after a while it becomes sort of blasé about it. I actually rather travel less these days.
If you're looking for some security in your life, if you want to live in the same place for a long time, then it's often quite hard in astronomy. Typically you'll do your PhD, then you'll go into a series of 2 or 3 year postdocs, we call them, which is a good chance to travel, see the world, but it's only later that you'll get the chance to settle down and perhaps get a more long-term job.
Generally, if you do your PhD in Australia, the Australian committee likes you to go overseas. And the reason they do that is because in Australia it's quite a small community. And so, although everybody knows you here, your name is not necessarily well known in international circles, which of course is not good for your future career.
Many astronomers actually move overseas. You don't have to. There's many paths into an astronomy career, but many people do end up moving around the world. This is now the 4th country I've lived in.
I think in this particular profession, you need to do this to learn a bit more, to gain more experience, and it's also something that's very enjoyable.